Yeah.
Why is that?
Just because. I'm sure you can figure it out.
Speaking of wide receivers and tiffs, Kyle was just talking about Jawan in practice. He just sent the guy into the game core. But just like how he had to tell guys like that's just how he blocks. He's not doing anything dirty. What from a defensive perspective are you like, buddy? It's practice. You need to calm down a little, or do you respect it because that's kind of your tempo?
I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen him dump anybody in the Gatorade in practice, but I mean that's just that's exactly who he is through and through. He plays the game exactly the way that you want it to be played, especially at that position. I mean, I've said it before. I think he's one of the best football players on our team. He doesn't get all the the attention or the limelight, but he's going to be there in the clutch situations when you need him. He's steady Eddie as it comes. Obviously with the run game stuff and also in the pass game, he just is a very complete player, and I'm really happy he's on our side.
How does Jared now compared to the guy you faced when he was on the Rams for those years?
A lot better. Not to say that he wasn't good when we played him back, when he was with the Rams, but I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now with the way that he's playing. I think he finished top 3 in passing yards this season, and I think just the delivery of the football, his decisiveness, obviously with the amount of playmakers that he has on that side, I think he's the one that's leading that group, and he's the reason why they're at where they're at right now. You need your quarterback to be the leader of the team and the offense, and get yourself in a position to be in a game like this.
Looking at the German receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, what are your thoughts on that, and how are you going to cover him?
Yeah, I like him a lot. I love the way that he plays the game. I think I met him for the first time, or was it last year at the Pro Bowl? I played with his older brother back in high school in L.A. when we did 7-on-7. I always remember seeing his little brother, just a fiery little cat, who was really talented, went to USC, had a great career there, and now being with the Lions, he has a chip on his shoulder. I think he got drafted in the 5th round or something like that, 4th round, and he took that personally, and he's been able to ascend himself into the top tier of receiver play in this league really early in his career. And so he does things the right way. You can tell he plays hard, he practices hard, does things the right way, and he's somebody that we're for sure going to have to be aware of when we play them.
What's so challenging about their run game, the Lions?
I think a lot of challenges. I think it starts up front with their offensive line. I think they have one of the best offensive line groups in the league. They have big guys who are athletic, who play with the right mindset, along with the rest of their team. But then also you add the two-headed monster at the running back that they have with Montgomery and Gibbs. I think it's a 1-2 punch. You got your physical and you got your speed there with quickness. And that's where the challenges present, because they can run downhill, they can hit you on the outside. So we have to obviously cover all areas.
When you look at their offense in general, do you see similarities to what you guys run here? Is that possibly helpful in terms of when watching?
Yeah, I do see similarities, just in terms of what they run, personnel, what they're trying to do, a lot of different weapons, trying to get the ball in everybody's hand to make sure that you can't just stop one thing. You got to make sure you cover all your bases.
This will be your 3rd NFC game in a row, championship game in a row. It will be Detroit's first. What role does experience play on a game like Sundays?
Yeah, it could be used to our advantage, but at the same time, my first NFC championship game back in 2019 was my first one. It was at home. I think that's more so the advantage, is playing at home in front of our fans, the faithful, playing on our grass, knowing exactly the environment that we're playing in. I think that's the advantage. I'm not really putting too much into them being there for an NFC Championship game. They've proven they can win in the playoffs now, back-to-back games at home for them. So I think the advantage here is playing at home.
Detroit being such a high-scoring first-quarter offense, I know you guys always want to get the early stop, but is that a bigger emphasis this week?
I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that. I think, like you mentioned, I think the goal is always to get stops early, to gain that momentum for our team, and knowing how explosive our offense is and how quick they can get points on the board. The quicker we can get the ball out of their offense's hands and into our offense, I think that's the recipe that we want.
Laporta seems to play with
like some veteran traits, but he's a rookie. What do you see when you watch him?
I think you can say that about all the rookies, honestly. I think they're all dialed in the exact right way. They obviously scouted and drafted guys that are made of the right stuff. I really like Laporta's game. I think in the past game, the fact that he's able to be top 3, top 2 in the league in yards, and is savvy in his routes that you don't really see in young tight ends. Great hands. He can separate with his speed and quickness. He's got everything that you want at the position.
Is there more out there for this defense, for your defense to accomplish, and what do you guys put on your plate to do your part to get through to the next round?
Yeah, there's plenty. The time for, hey guys, let's get better. Let's get better this week. Let's get better. Like that's kind of over with. Like you got to perform at your best now. When your best is needed, it's time to really put it out there and lead from the front. Like if we want to win this game, I'm putting it all in the defense's hands. I'm saying that all we need to do is score 3 on offense, and we're going to win it for us. That's the mindset that we got to go into this week. We got to go into this week with, and the time, like I said, the time for we'll get it right next week. That's over with. We got to make sure we come out guns a-blazing. We got to set the tone right away, and we got to make sure we're coming out playing our best football.
You mentioned the rookies. I was chuckling reading back about when you were a rookie, and I think Coach gave you the feedback that you were a little too loud on the field. He could hear you from the sideline.
Classic.
What other things have you worked on with him over the years, and just can you talk about your relationship with him?
Yeah, I just from that jump, trying to play Mike linebacker from coming out of BYU, never playing off the ball backer and never giving calls before. I had a great coach in D'Amico Ryans who obviously played the position at a high level, is one of the best coaches out there, and he told me from the start, he's like, you need to be demanding, you need to say the calls with conviction when you're out there, and I took that and I ran with it, obviously, and I was screaming them, but just little things like that. I think I've learned so much as I've gone on. I'm still learning to this day. Just trying to be the best player I can for this team and be the best teammate I can.
Your self-described best friend, Brandon Ayuk, just came in and talked about how it's big to get over the hump. Obviously, last 2 years, losing in the NFC Championship game. Would you say the defense has the same mindset, like trying to get over that hump that's been an issue the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think the last 2 years every year is unique in itself. You talk about last year in Philly, we went into that game with full confidence, believing that we were going to win that game. And Brock goes down, we lose our backup quarterback and didn't have much of a shot. The year before that, nobody gave us a chance. We barely slip into the playoffs at the end of the year and then have to play the Rams, who obviously went on to win that Super Bowl. That was a tight battle all the way through. It's just 1 or 2 plays in the game that win or lose you the game at this point. It's the team that plays the best for 3 hours. And, even this past Saturday, were we the best team that played for those 3 hours? We made 1 or 2 plays in the end to make it happen, and so I don't know how this game's going to go on Sunday. I know we gotta play our best football when our best is needed, and whenever those 1 or 2 plays come, you got to make them.
I know it's not the ultimate goal, but you said throughout the season, I think Juice said it after the game, once you lose last year's NFC Championship, you can't just snap your fingers and get back to the game, but what is the sense of satisfaction, if there is any, just to be back here 1 win away from going back to the Super Bowl? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to look at it. I walk up here, I see this little sheet behind me, and I'm like, I can blink, and I remember getting up here, getting ready for Philly, seeing that same exact banner, and the fact that we're here. You work so hard all season long. We talked about it all season. To be able to put ourselves in a position where we could play the NFC Championship game again and also do it at home, how big that is up for us, and we did that. We have that opportunity right now. So how can you not sell out? How can you not give your all to this thing? How can you not make sure you're playing your best ball for 3 hours on Sunday? I know the type of team we have, the type of players we have and talent. I know if we play our best ball for 3 hours, we'll get the job done.
All right, thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, guys.
I think this might be the best line you guys go against, and Sewell is considered the best right tackle. What do you think of Decker and Sewell when you watch them?
They're really good. Played good all year. Decker's been doing it since 10 years plus now. He used to watch him battle my brother in camp at Ohio State. And then Sewell's gotten better each year, really good in the run game, so it'll be a good challenge.
You heard just Fred talk about, as soon as last season ended, the goal was to get back to where you are right now. Do those past experiences, do they have any impact on what's going to happen on Sunday night?
It's hard to say if it's going to impact what goes down for 3 hours on Sunday, but definitely is good experience for us. Been here a lot, but yeah, it's really a new year every year, so got to play good.
Extremely familiar with Jared Goff. Is he the same guy in Detroit that he was in LA, and what's the key to defending him?
Yeah, I think he is the same guy. Not saying he's played great in LA and he's played great with Detroit, but the key is obviously getting pressure on him. He's got a really good O-line, so it makes it tough, but you cover up his first couple reads and you get after him, hit him a few times, it changes things a little bit.
What was your assessment of you guys in the run game the other night, and what kind of challenges Detroit's run game?
Yeah, we definitely got hit on a lot of crack tosses. Weren't fitting them great, but it's a play that we're going to see with them for sure with 26. So we're going to emphasize that this week. Hopefully, put it out early but overall, I think we played really physical. I think the edge guys are starting to get a really good feel for this scheme. Chase, Randy, and Rob. And I was happy to see Eric out there feeling good, feeling healthy, and I think J.K. had one of his best games. So yeah, we're going to need another one.
Did you feel a difference in terms of setting the edge? You mentioned the guys that are maybe playing more rundown specifically without Klee out there. Did you feel a difference in terms of guys having to kind of get into that mode of setting the edge a little bit more?
Yeah, not so much. Obviously, losing Klee is tough, but just overall, I think we've gotten better at edge, just getting the scheme down. Having new guys who haven't been here for a camp takes some time to really just take your seatbelt off and penetrate like we're coached to do. And, yeah.
It's not as if you, as a defensive line, didn't affect Love, particularly in some key moments late in the game. But when you look at the end of the game, it says 0 sacks. Do you guys say this is unacceptable?
Not when the scoreboard's in our favor. So we affect the game in different ways. Sacks are good. I feel like I talk about this a lot. I wish I didn't have to, but it's what we're paid to do. So, but affecting the quarterback in different ways could be just as valuable as sacks. They're hard to come by lately, but we're going to keep working our ass off to get them as many as we can.
What was the key to getting pressure on Jordan Lovely? He obviously had a lot of really good throws early on, but obviously the 2 interceptions later in the game. What was the key to getting more pressure on him as the game went on?
I don't think much changed. It was definitely a game where they stayed in their offense. They were able to keep running the ball, stayed on the field for really long drives. They kept the chip protections in almost all day. So we didn't really get them exactly where we wanted them, but just keep on trucking and some key pressures towards the end, and yeah, Dre got under one.
Chase has seemed to fit in pretty well since he's been here, but the numbers haven't necessarily, shown up. Do you get the sense that he's ready for that kind of breakout game that with so much attention on you, that he can kind of have the performance that can make game-changing plays in this one?
Yeah, he has the ability, that's for sure, and you see it in pass rush on certain plays where he's beating guys quick. The other night, he had a couple where the ball was out, but he was winning, and we're going to need it if they're going to slide a certain way and chip a certain way, whether it's my side or Eric or Grave or whoever it is who they're focusing on a certain play. Those one-on-ones have to come alive.
We've seen the D-line this year, more 5-man front, a couple of games. The Giants game comes to mind. How does your role and mentality switch from a 4-man line to a 5-man front?
The bear front is definitely a change up for our run stuff. Stop the run if we need it. But it doesn't change my mindset as an edge guy very much.
Nick, on Jones's 53-yard run, it looked like 5-6 yards behind the line of scrimmage, you had a shot at him. I don't know if you got like caught in between steps or what happened on that.
Yeah, I definitely felt like it was a weird. I was running my ass off all game trying to hit anything that moved, and I think Logan flashed on my inside, and I didn't dive for him, and I was definitely not happy about that play. It's hard to say in real time, especially on when a guy's moving that fast, and but yeah, thank God he missed that field goal.
Does that remind you at all of, Kowalski had that stop on Jones in Green Bay. Did that, tackle by Charvarius remind you at all of that play?
Yeah, it's similar.
Nick, now that you've been through this a few times, do you talk to some of the younger guys on the team just kind of to try to tell them what to expect in terms of the level of competition in a championship game, or is that something that you just expect they've kind of absorbed throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely talked to some of the guys who haven't been through it. We have a lot of guys that have been through it, so it's kind of like a whole culture that they've been around for a while now. So, but yeah, I think I've talked to the new guys. Chase being a big one, just how you need to step it up a notch, and I think I saw that as a D-line, like the physicality and the effort. I think we did take that step last week, and we're gonna have to take another one.
Nick, I don't know if you get pregame butterflies until that first hit, but are your emotions different, this being your 4th NFC Championship game in the last 5 years?
Yeah, it's definitely different in the playoffs. You kind of have that mentality early in the week that that you're just ready to go. Sometimes it takes till game day to get going, but in the playoffs, you're ready to play on Wednesday. So,
Thanks,
you ready?
Nick.
Thanks.
Brock, for you guys.